podcast. Nick, you beautiful soul, how are you?
I'm doing pretty great. How are you doing, Kurt?
I'm pretty awesome. The reason we were dancing is because this week's movie is Booksmart, and we were just feeling that energy. So now that we got that out of our systems, how was your week, Nick?
It was pretty fucking dank. By the way, who gave you a permit to be that beautiful?
Who allowed you to take my breath away?
Oh, shit.
Well, I'm glad we got a cameo from Master Chief. That was a long time coming.
Bye, buddy.
Bye, Chief. So, Nick, Resident Evil 3 came out. We talked about it last week, but we've officially played it. How was your run through?
We're just... I made it through. I decided to be a badass and just start on normal and not assisted. So
This is your third Resident Evil game?
yes. Yes it is. And I haven't played that much. So we'll do a comparison of Curtis's time and my time here. So
The difference is pretty striking.
I have triple the time that you have.
Oh my gosh.
It took me almost 15 hours to get through the game. Which I feel like at least 3 was me leaving on loading screens and going to eat and shit like that. But
yeah, that's the one thing is it keeps running the clock unless you actually pause the game. So that's probably a big part of the problem. But a lot of people were complaining about the short run time because most people are finishing it in 6 hours. So you definitely didn't run into that problem.
I died 51 times in this game.
Yes.
I think that I should get a gold star for that.
Your world record is on the way.
How many times can you possibly die without trying to die in Resident Evil?
So did Nemesis kill you a lot, or was it the hunters and other things?
It was the fucking hunters. I didn't die that much. On Nemesis, I died maybe 5 times for each battle or whatever for Nemesis. But no, the hunters got me 15 times in that one part. I was like, what the fuck?
For some context, Nick was stuck in this part where there were 2 really hard enemies, and he kept telling me all these times he was dying. So eventually I was like, dude, just run through the room, you'll be fine. And he did it. That's what worked.
Brave Sir Robin ran away.
Exactly.
Brave Sir Robin.
Sometimes you gotta know when to fold and just run right through. So how was your experience? Did you like that game?
I did. I liked it a lot. I think it was a nice continuation of 2 for sure.
Yeah. I definitely had a great time, but I'm a little biased. I've been playing that series since I was a little kid, so the characters, they're cheesy and campy, but it's part of my history.
You gotta take it for what it is.
Exactly. So, since this week's theme is high school and rom-coms, what were you like in high school, Nick? We didn't know each other in high school, so I wish we did. Honestly, I was telling you that yesterday.
Oh my god, I really wish we would have known each other in high school because I feel like the dynamic that Amy and Molly have would be very similar to our dynamic for sure.
Yes. Everybody needs that.
The constant bro love. That shirt looks fucking stellar on you, by the way, my dude.
My dude, your hat is killing it.
Fresh to death. This
dude,
man won't fucking quit.
High school would have been so great with you around, my dude. I would have had so much more confidence. I didn't talk to anybody in high school.
I didn't either. You know, when they're going through the tables in Mean Girls and labeling them, I was absolutely in the coolest people you ever meet.
Oh my gosh. I was at the corner, barely included in the sexually active band geeks. let me
Same.
sit there because I had no other option.
But you sit at like the edge of the table, and then they're all like paired up and having drama and shit, and you're just like,
I'm gonna eat my chicken nuggets. I'm just kidding. I was too
why?
awkward to stand in line for chicken nuggets. I eat the pizza every day because there was never a line.
Curtis doesn't have enough confidence for chicken nuggets.
I really didn't. It was every Wednesday. It was like the big deal because their chicken nuggets were supposed to be so good. I wouldn't know because I never tried them. The line was too long.
Oh, Curtis.
That was my high school career.
I brought my lunch every day.
Damn, that's such a genius answer to that. I should have thought of that.
I would have shared my lunch with you.
Oh.
I would have split my baby Ruth with you, Curtis.
Oh, dude, that's some high level praise right there. That's a real bro move.
I got you.
Oh boy. So, like we said, this week's movie was Booksmart. How did you want to start? Did you want to compare this to Mean Girls to start off with, or did you want to jump into what we thought about this movie first?
Oh, we can totally just jump in.
Right. So, little backstory. Nick saw this movie before I did. He praised it very highly, and I took his advice and actually watched it and absolutely fell in love. It's probably my favorite buddy comedy right now.
I've watched this movie about 4 times now, and the first time I saw it in theaters with my sister and my dad, which my sister is absolutely Molly, like to a T,
That's hilarious.
yeah. Maybe we'll have her on here someday. She's pretty fucking great, honestly.
I was gonna say, out of our friend groups, I think maybe Angie would be the Molly. Just because she has a very, clear vision of, the way things should go and is very driven.
I was gonna say your wife, actually.
Yes! I can see that, too. They're very much the same in that respect. They're very organized and planning and, structured.
Driven.
Yes.
And the strong female.
Yep. Here we are, just a couple of Amy's, ready to back them up at any time.
But Amy is way too real, honestly, sometimes.
I was watching this movie and I was like, I feel so attacked by how accurate this is.
I don't want to go. Malala.
Dude, that was totally me, for years and years. I never wanted to go anywhere. I was so awkward and nervous.
Same, I'm like, oh.
I think actually Seth, who worked in the movie theater with us, really brought me out of that and brought me to a bunch of his parties, and I was like, okay, I can actually come here and not be judged for not drinking or anything.
Curtis breaking out of his sweet little shell.
It's all Seth's fault.
And Curtis got drunk for the first time during this quarantine.
Quarantine,
holy shit.
man. I got tipsy, yeah. I wasn't full on wasted, but I was definitely feeling the bourbon after a few glasses.
Maybe
Nick,
we'll have to
has it you drank too.
I don't drink at all. I had a couple of beers or whatever and played Stardew Valley. It's a good time, man.
Dude, Stardew is the ultimate quarantine game.
Oh my god, I know.
I gotta go check on my farm lady today and act like everything's normal and there's not a pandemic sweeping the world.
With that sweet little music, and you're just like, yes.
And the sound of the little footsteps walking around, it's all so good.
Bloop. Bloop. Bloop.
Just turn on that game and pretend nothing's wrong in the world.
Ah, it's too pure for this world, just like Curtis.
You gotta stop it, my dude.
I'll let me love you.
Nobody deserves a friend like you, my friend.
Let me love you.
So yeah, I guess the first way to start this off is we can't talk about this movie without talking about the dynamic between Molly and Amy, because they are friendship goals. That is what I want out of every friendship.
Exactly. Except for the big fight,
I was gonna get to that. That's my big, thing for this episode. So they obviously care about each other. I think they care about each other too much, and that's why they fell out like that because they weren't honest with each other throughout the movie. Like they always try to hide things that would cause a little conflict or like mess with their positivity, and that kind of like threw a wrench in their plan and it all blew up.
I mean, that's honestly like it really embodies like a high school friendship if you think about it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like you don't quite have the social skills like and the empathy that's necessary for like an actual beautiful friendship yet.
Mhm.
So like you have like one person that like expects the other one to do everything and the other one's like pretty passive, which is basically me and you. We're like, okay, yeah, that's fine, I guess.
It really is. Um, and yeah, just Amy with her trip and extending it for a full year, and she was too nervous to tell Molly because Molly had her plan all like laid out, and she knew Molly would be super upset about it, and putting it off and not telling her made the problem so much worse than it would have been.
And then it blew up on social media. They recorded that fight and put it on social media.
Yeah, this is the ultimate high school movie for this generation, which is why we followed Mean Girls
Which
with it.
brings us to our next question here. So like, do you think Booksmart actually will be able to hold up like Mean Girls did?
That's interesting. I think Mean Girls has more unique, like quotable lines. Like Booksmart is more like you have to see it. It's not as viral as like the lines from Mean Girls, but I think the comedy hits just as hard in Booksmart, and it just depends on like the word of mouth how much this movie is spread because it didn't really do a lot at the box office. I don't think. Like it was really popular between like the film community, like people who love movies, like it got around, but the mass audience, I don't know. I'm not a teenager, so I don't have that like perspective. I hope it does because I love it probably more than Mean Girls at this point.
Same, honestly, because honestly, like I was thinking about it too. Like Mean Girls didn't really hold up that well at box office either.
Hmm.
And it took it a couple like years to really get the traction that it needed to become what it is today.
Yeah, it had that cult status for sure.
Plus, like, I don't know, for both of us, like you graduated in 2012, right?
Yep.
And I graduated in 2011. So we were literally like pretty much right between Mean Girls and Booksmart.
Hmm. We had Superbad probably. That was our movie. Which did you know that Beanie, the girl that plays Molly, is Jonah Hill's sister?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. She's also in Lady Bird. She was great in that movie too.
She's also in the What We Do in the Shadows TV series as well,
Nice. I know you keep
which,
trying to get me to watch that one. I need to find the time.
oh my God, it's so good. I love her though. She's great.
She is awesome. I was thinking about that last night, how this movie is like the female version of Superbad, and I think I like Beanie more than I did Jonah Hill in Superbad.
Same. I I definitely agree with you with the whole like us being like it was super bad, but at the same time like I definitely feel that like between Mean Girls and uh Booksmart, like we were more on the Booksmart swing because like
Hmm.
I'm sure I don't know about your high school, like the high school dynamic in your school, but like I know that it was definitely getting to the point where like the popular kids were smart
Hmm.
and were in like all the AP classes and shit like that.
Hmm. My school was kind of starting that. Like, there was this group of like super popular like theater kids and like academic people, but they were still very much their own like in group. Like the football and the basketball stars were still like the kings of campus, and then like it was like the indie movie. Like these guys over here are still like super cool and popular, but like you gotta know that group, you know.
Right, right. Nah, Dixie was weird, man. Like, well, everything about my high school is weird because I like sat there for a second. I was like, oh my God, we're famous for like fights. Like,
So was my school, man. I once saw somebody beat somebody up while eating an ice cream cone. Like, laid him out, licking the ice cream cone, punching with the other hand. It was something to behold.
Curtis, did I ever tell you about my most memorable high school experience that I ever witnessed with my own two eyes?
No, I'm ready for it.
Oh my God. So the world's about to hear this. This is easily the best high school story that I have that is not concussion related.
Good caveat there.
So I was a sophomore, right? I was a sophomore in high school, and I had to take this stupid science class, and it was like biology or some shit like that. And the teacher was like so old, and like everybody would like kind of make fun of him because he would like fall asleep during his own lectures, and they were like, "Oh, he's totally narcoleptic or whatever." So like I like very specifically remember this day. Like he put on this movie about ATP, like that was made from like the 80s, that was like super fucking cheesy about like plant synthesis and shit like that. And he was like asleep in the back of the classroom like this. And then this girl, like there were these two girls that were kind of like bickering back and forth like earlier in the week, and like we didn't think anything of it. And what? The classroom is dark. She sneaks out. I shit you not. I could not make this shit up. She sneaks out, grabs the lock off of her locker, comes back in, pulls the other girl's hair up from the desk because she's like asleep like this, pulls the other girl's hair up, and then she just starts with like a lock.
Oh my God, dude.
And then like the teacher, like he's like a fucking 70-something-year-old man, wakes up out of this like dead ass sleep, runs over, tries to pull this other girl off of this girl, and like she like starts kicking in her face like on the floor. And then
That's
like
insanity.
like finally like the fucking police come and like put her in handcuffs and like take her off or whatever. And like the other girl's like sitting there on the floor, and she's like kind of bleeding out of her head, and she goes, "Am I bleeding?" And we're like, "Yeah." Yeah, you're bleeding.
Wow. High school is wild, man.
So that's what my high school experience was in a nutshell.
I'm glad ours were pretty similar. We were friends in spirit. We had very similar situations.
Apparently,
even though our high schools hated each other, we were like the biggest rivals of each other.
And they both sucked.
Yep. Agreed.
It was so dumb.
So yeah, high school in Booksmart is definitely not anything like that. But what I thought was interesting was Olivia Wilde directed this. This was her first movie, and just the little things she did to like make this movie work. Like she had the two main actresses live together for 10 months to kind of like build that relationship and have like a little repartee between them. And she told everybody in the cast, like, feel free to come to me for line changes. Like, if anything feels inaccurate or like something you wouldn't say, like, feel free to change it up and make it like your time. Because obviously, like, Olivia Wilde's not that age anymore.
She's pretty fucking great though, honestly. I remember watching House, and that was like when I first like met her, and I was like, she played 13 on House, like fucking phenomenal. And this movie, like, holy shit, like I looked her up on IMDb just to see, and she's directed two music videos that were pretty big. One of them was Red Hot Chili Peppers, and the other one was, oh my God, is it like Margot and the Electric So-and-So's? Oh fuck, I forget. It's a long band name, and I like recognize it as soon as I see it.
Nice. That's cool though. Yeah, this is another great directorial debut. I don't know, man. Where should we start? We haven't even gotten into the movie yet.
I know. Honestly, that was such, like, I did not expect that out of Olivia Wilde. Like, I remember watching the movie, and then that was, like, the first thing that popped up, like, after the movie, and I was like, holy shit.
Mhm.
Like, the Olivia Wilde, like, directed this? Holy shit, that's dank as fuck. Like,
Yeah, she fully understands like the high school genre, and like in her first movie just absolutely puts everything on display. It's awesome. I love the first scenes, like first with Molly, where we get like her little introduction and we see the pictures of Michelle Obama, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and we kind of get like the sense of Molly like immediately. And then when she gets picked up by Amy, we get their friendship right away with the dance scene. Like we know immediately, all right, these guys are like weird, but they embrace each other's weirdness and build each other up, and it's wonderful.
oh my God. I like, I mean, obviously, like, it's not like this movie's not like realistic in the aspect of like high school. Like, I would definitely put Mean Girls a little bit more realistic than Booksmart.
Oh yeah,
Whereas, like, yeah, this one's more of a. I think the ultimate theme in this movie is like, don't judge people based solely on how they act, and like, there's more to life than grades, basically.
right, yeah. And as great as Molly and Amy are, like the side characters too, they all get their moments to like reflect and like show who they really are. Like the rich kid, what was his name?
Jared.
Jared, yeah, like we kind of feel a little bit of sympathy towards him because he's just trying to like make friends, and this is like the life he's known or whatever, and he just doesn't know any better.
I
And
know.
Gigi too, like she's just super loyal and like ready to die for her friends, but like these are people that like they're kind of annoying and nobody wants to be friends with them.
Right. Which brings us to our next question. Who do you connect with most out of all these characters?
Honestly, it's got to be Amy. I just love her personality, her spirit. Even like coming down to the fight they have, like that's something I would 100% do. Like I'm afraid to hurt somebody's feelings, so I'd keep something from them for too long. That is 100% me.
And you'd be like, I was doing it for you.
That's 100% something I would do. I can own up to that one.
I know.
So who would you be?
Okay, if I would want to be Gigi, I wish I resignated that much energy.
I can see it. I wish you were at every party I just happened to show up at, and you just happened to be there already.
Which is pretty much my aesthetic in general, just kind of being places at the weirdest times. Like, I think like but like honestly, like personality wise, I'm more of a combination between Jared and Amy.
I can see it. Yeah.
The awkward, dry humor of Amy, just like, and like the her like talking to her crush and shit, and she's sitting there like, would you also be afraid to go to Uganda as well?
Amy talking to Ryan is the best part of this movie. I love it so much.
Yeah, I want you to come out. Oh, I did come out. I come out in the 10th grade.
And like the first time they talk to, when Molly makes her go talk, and she just can barely get a word out and just saying all this random stuff. So great.
Oh my God. If I like, there's like one scene in this movie that like reminds me of you for some odd reason, and it's this, it's the scene where they go to karaoke. They start doing Alanis Morissette. Yeah.
You can now. I love that. She's like, shut up. I have thing for you.
And all the first I made.
Shakespeare in the parking lot. I think my favorite line delivery in this movie, and I don't know why it is, it's when Jared pulls up in his car, he's driving Molly and Amy, and he goes, all aboard the SS Lit as fuck. The SS Lit as fuck. He's just so awkward, but trying so hard to be like this cool guy. I love it. It shows his character so much.
I like to listen to the strong words of strong females before I party.
So I remember the respect you all deserve.
I was like, damn, that kind of hits kind of hard.
Yes, I could see a little bit of Jared in both of us too. But definitely, like, in high school, I was 100% Amy. Like, it's even, like, just having the crush and everybody, like, go talk to that person, and I just could not do it. That was me.
Yup. Yep. And then you see your crush with somebody else, and you're just like... and then the awkward bathroom sex scene.
Oh, God. That makes me so
not
sad. The ending of it.
It's not the right hole. It's not the hole you think it is. I'm just not used to approaching it from that angle.
Oh my gosh. Such a great, like, callback to when they're talking in the bedroom, like, right before the panda scene.
The panda scene?
I just love that Molly finds this one little tidbit of information that she doesn't know about Amy, and she just has to know it. Like, that's, like, eating at her soul. She's going to launch an investigation until she finds out what it is.
Maybe we should have secrets.
And then at the end, when the mom and dad are, like, kissing the panda.
Not the face, please, not the face. Amy, make it stop.
Molly's like, what happened to the eyeball?
I think that just makes Amy's character like that much better for me. And then the part where they're like watching porn for the first time, like in the back of the Uber, the lift. Is that Cardi B?
In the the principal being the driver and plugging in their music right away. They can't get it off. That was great. And like 20 minutes later, Molly's phone's dead. We streamed so much porn.
So much porn.
Oh man, this movie is just nonstop laughs. It's a great feel-good movie. Like I was gonna mention, this is exactly what I needed during this quarantine. It boosted my mood a ton.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think you watched it. Did you watch it twice this week, Kurt?
I did. I watched it earlier, like as I was falling asleep, so I didn't watch the whole movie. I stayed awake through the doll scene because that is my favorite scene in the movie. One of my favorite scenes.
Hands down.
Just love that image of them walking back through the murder mystery party, all straight. I can't bend my legs.
These mouths. Where's my chub?
That was a scary noise.
My God.
If I get murdered, you all heard it here.
I can't do anything, Curtis. I'll have to call the Milwaukee police.
Dude, I realized this week that I totally Amy'd you. I left you alone.
Did you?
Dude, I left Kentucky and came all the way up to Wisconsin.
I was actually thinking about that. That end scene, I was like, where they're like sitting there, bye, have fun.
And she comes back, I can be the last one on the plane. Want to go get waffles? Or pancakes? Some pancakes. Though you would totally make waffles, because every time we hang out together and spend the night, you make waffles the next day.
I always make waffles.
In the morning, I'm making waffles.
Made with so much love.
So much love. And then I follow behind and do the dishes.
The ultimate bromance.
Our dynamic is so perfect.
God, they should make a movie about us.
Maybe someday.
Maybe someday.
I see Chief Big chilling back there. He's having a great time.
Oh, yeah, that's his favorite blanket. He loves that blanket so much.
That's sweet.
He's a good boy, that one.
That's sweet.
Did you have anything else to add about this dank ass movie?
Um, I don't know, man. I could talk for a while. First of all, Nick is a Hufflepuff. He says I fuck with Hufflepuffs, so I'm down with Nick. It's unfortunate that he and Molly didn't end up together, but um oh, when Amy's getting arrested, I love the line where she's like, "Shotgun." Just kidding, I don't have one.
I love when she's like kind of like low key mouthing off to the police, like, but they're like, this is like a 17-year-old kid, so we're just not gonna acknowledge it.
Yes. I love how they play up how naive they are too. Like the pizza delivery guy when they get into his car and try to like rob him for the information, and he ends up being a serial killer, and he's like seriously concerned about them. He's like, "What if I were a murderer? Like I have a gun right here," and then we find out later that he actually is a serial killer.
You spend a lot of time focusing on the hair.
I love their makeshift mask with just their hair tied around.
Give us the address.
The voice doesn't help.
Doesn't make you sound any older.
Also, the line, I wanted to mention that because you work at a pizza restaurant, when he's walking out with the order and he goes, 2 half cheese, half sausage pizzas, or just 1 sausage, 1 cheese pizza?
Fucking moron.
It's such a great line.
Oh my god.
You have words like that from time to time.
You have no idea the shit that I see sometimes. Some of the orders that come in, especially like right now during quarantine, like where they just want like a sandwich or a salad, and I'm like, you're paying how much for this? How much are you paying for chicken and cheese on a bun?
Oh.
You're paying like $10 for chicken and cheese on a bun. Like, go to Kroger. You can get enough chicken for a week with that money. Okay.
But they can get it delivered from you. They'll pay whatever.
It's like when people just order like a cheese pizza, I'm like, because like the restaurant I work at, it's kind of like a higher end pizza restaurant. I'm like, you're paying how much money for this large cheese pizza right now?
Yikes.
It's a cheese pizza. I guess I'll make it. I can't wait to get out of the pizza business, Curtis. 6
It's been
years.
a long, long road for you.
6 years is enough. I've
You
done
were
my
almost out, and then this quarantine thing hit.
I had 2 jobs. And I was on my way out of the restaurant business, and then the quarantine hit, and then I lost. It'll be back, though.
Just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
I'm essential.
You are essential. I've known that for a long time, my friend. You're very essential to me.
You are essential to me, Curtis. This podcast is essential for our well-being.
It really is. This is the best we got. This is why we dance at the beginning and do all this weird stuff and get distracted and don't talk about the movie that much because we just need to see each other and talk to each other.
And then everybody else can just listen to it. And you get to listen to us talk and
enjoy this beautiful friendship with the option to turn it off, I guess.
You see this smile? That's for you.
Aw. Sending one right back to you, my friend. Dude, we're gonna have no audience after this. The one person that watches this show is gonna leave after this episode.
Like, you guys are fucking weird.
I love it. But no, I guess overall, just I want the audience to watch this movie and try to spread some of that positivity. Like, Amy and Molly are definitely not perfect characters. Molly is way too organized and OCD and, like, expects way too much from people, and Amy definitely, like, hides a lot and isn't honest, but, like, their friendship is definitely something to aspire to. They build each other up and embrace each other for who they are. It's wonderful to see.
And they grow together, and that's the important part.
Exactly. They malala at each other to the point of actually, like, going out of their comfort zone and doing something incredible. I love the teacher too, Mrs.
Um,
Fine or Miss Fine. She was great. She's also like the perfect warning for them. Like, yeah, get this out of your system, but don't like overcorrect and do it all through college because that's what I did, and now I can never have a mango smoothie again.
the Jamba Juice.
That's a national chain. Do you know how many Jamba Juices there are?
I think she's such like a good role model for them for sure. Like that dope ass English teacher that's just like, yeah,
Yes.
I'll take you to a party.
There are so many great moments in this movie that like subvert your expectations. Like when Molly and Amy walk into the library and just shot like they're like these rock stars. They like give a high five to the librarian and then they like hit the books hard. And the scene with the teacher where they're like, "Oh my god, we got our teacher's phone number," and they're definitely just gonna call her to like chat about stuff.
Oh my god. The whole movie is just like a fucking masterpiece, like for sure. I think it's a great coming of age movie, like, and it definitely gives you like a, like unlike Mean Girls, where like it was mostly focused on the popular kid, like the older expectation of popular kids. This one's more about like you're nerdy, like teenage girls. Where like mostly like, and it was like kind of influential as well because it was about nerdy girls instead of nerdy guys, which like there's like ample amounts of movies about nerdy teenage guys. Like we have too many.
Right? Yeah, 100%. This is a perfect movie at the perfect time, and yeah, I could watch it all day. It's great. It's also good because the characters are all like very much figuring out who they are. That's like the whole point of this movie is every character is a genuine high schooler and that they're this like over dramatic version of themselves because they don't know who they are yet.
Exactly. And the ending was perfect. Busting
Rushing through the gate.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Jared's speech as Molly for valedictorian.
That was great. That was, and he just like rocked it too. He's like, white men are not.
He leaned into it so hard. I love it.
Oh my god. Well, we should probably wrap this up now.
Sounds good, my friend.
To all you beautiful dogs and puppies out there.
What is cats and kittens trademarked now? Are you going to get sued if you say that?
I don't know. That bitch Carol Baskin might come after me. I can't handle that right now.
Somebody said, going back to Tiger King, somebody said online today that Carol Baskin's always asking people to donate, but if you rearrange the words, it says 8 Dawn. We're on to you, Carol Baskin.
If the boot fits.
All right, we should let this one person that listens to our show go.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much, Slow Glows, for letting us use your music every week.
Yes.
We love you.
Love you. Go spread positive energy into the world. Nick, thank you for joining me for another fun episode. I miss your face.
I missed you.